Welcome to A Better Marriage Daily, where we show you how to love each other in spite of each other and give you tips, hopefully, so that you can have a better marriage daily. My name is Sean.
And I'm V.
Hey, y'all, what's happening? I'm so glad to be here again for episode 21.
21 already.
21, baby. Mm-hmm. You tired yet?
No, I'm not tired.
You sure?
Why did you ask that?
Because.
No, I'm not tired.
Because this is not your thing.
It's not, but I'm not tired.
Well, I'm sorry. It hasn't been your thing.
Right.
It will be
hasn't,
your thing.
but
it will be your thing, but
tired.
It hasn't been.
I'm not tired.
Okay, good. So what I'm thinking today, y'all, is we're going to talk about what happens in a marriage marriage is the only really, if you're in a relationship, then this is not as necessarily as important. But if you're in a marriage and you each come there with kids, blended families. Today we're talking about blended families and how best to navigate.
Yeah.
Ooh. So when we found out that we were pregnant with little Sean, I was like, wow. Life is as I knew it is over. Life as I knew it is over. I have to be a different person. I got to be responsible. I have to take charge and take my rightful place as father in his life. And so for me, that was heavy. Mm-hmm. You know, that was a really heavy time for me, because it made me do a lot of soul searching. And one thing I did realize was that when I realized that I was going to be a dad, I realized that it was no longer about me.
Right.
You know, I was like, it's no longer about me. I got to figure this thing out for us. I got to make sure I'm there. I got to make sure I'm providing. I got to make sure that I'm be there to guide and all that good stuff like that. And so life changed. It made all the difference in the world. Matter of fact, I decided to not go to New York when all my other musician friends were going. We were going to go make a push for it. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, I can't go because I can't leave, her to raise him by herself. And I was like, I got to be there. Mm-hmm. And so in that process, I was like, well, I'm going to concentrate on the culture and the music that I'm already in, and so I did. And praise God, it's been a beautiful thing.
Great choice.
But so here I am with this 4-year-old. And then I meet you and you got a 14-year-old. So whenever you were 19 years old and found yourself with a child, with a baby, so did you even imagine yourself getting married?
Not while I was raising him, no. I mean, I didn't really think about it. I was busy living, so it wasn't anything that I thought about. Maybe later. I guess I thought about later after, he graduated from school and everything.
Yeah. You were like later. 18.
Yeah.
When he turns 18, I'll think about that.
Yeah.
Isn't
mostly because I didn't think about it. I just didn't.
Isn't that kind of
I wasn't married, so I didn't think about it.
But isn't that kind of wild how and again, I'm not saying that you have to be married, that women have to be married, that people have to be married.
No.
But isn't it wild that you put all of you on hold to be a parent?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing. Mm-hmm.
You're thinking back, you're going,
No, I did. Mostly, yeah. Yeah, once they get a little older, you get a little bit more freedom, when they're able to do for themselves and they're not babies. As they grow older, you get to, do more for yourself and to think more about you. But no, I mean, parenting is all consuming, really, and especially if you're a single parent.
Especially if you are a single parent. That is real, real, real. And then 2 years later, we get married.
Yes.
2.5 years.
2.5. Yeah.
And then 2 years later, we get married.
Yeah. 3.
There was 17. There was 17 and 7. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 17 and 7. Yeah, well, yeah, because they had both just made 17 and 7.
Right. Little Sean made 7 the day
before
our rehearsal dinner.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome. And y'all, so we didn't have all the answers.
No.
We didn't have any of the answers, but as the And I'm gonna say this, y'all just gonna have to bear with me. As a man, I feel a certain responsibility and duty to the family that that I make sure and set the course, you know. So I was very, very bent on making sure that I was the provider, that I provided the stability, that I provided the encouragement, that I provided the discipline, that I provided, you know, the guidance and whatnot, the whole man persona figure, the healthy man, not the toxic. This thing they got going on now that's toxic. I don't even know what that really is. I mean, that's just bad personalities, and it's toxic women and toxic men. So I don't know about that. I don't know enough to speak on that. Look, I don't know enough to speak on that, so I won't. But I will say that I think I did a pretty good job imparting into both boys that who are now men of an example through the way I treated you,
right?
You know, through the way I loved on you and everything, and seems like it, you know, kind of worked.
Back then we didn't know. We were just doing our best. You know, it was a lot of changes for everyone, every last one of us.
Yeah, two only children.
Changes.
It was two only children.
Only.
And then what
children.
do? You got two oldest.
Yes.
Right. So we're navigating the two oldest. So we're used to running stuff.
Yes.
Both of us are used to running stuff.
Yes.
Right. So now we got to compromise.
Yes.
And then we bring two only children in.
Only children.
Who are used to being the only focus.
Right.
Of everything.
Yes.
And so then they got to get used to sharing.
Yes.
And they got to get used to, you know, sharing their parent
spaces
and
things,
family and
family.
Things. Yeah.
And it was, when I think about it, wow.
Yeah, but for
that
me,
was a lot.
But for my thing though was that when we got together, Anthony was now mine.
Right.
And I feel like you said,
LaShawn was mine.
Well, actually, you said that in the joke not the joke, but in the very serious statement that you made before we got married. Lil Sean is baby enough for me.
Yes.
If you want another one, go make one.
Yes.
I'm fine with that one. And so, you know,
because I understood that I was now going to be raising him. You know, even though he wasn't an infant, you know, he was out of the diaper stage. He was in school and everything. I knew pretty much what that was going to take.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I said he was baby enough for me.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to raise nobody smaller than that. No. He's self-sufficient. I can tell him to go wash his booty. He can wash his booty. I ain't got to go do it for him.
He was a little man, and, you know, I imparted all the things that I could into his life, but he was a little man. You know, he was used to doing things on his own. You know, he was a little man. He really was.
Yeah. And a lot of people, so we had to get through the fact that we were both only children, both oldest children.
Oldest children.
So we have that whole responsibility thing and that whole the strength of headstrong thing. So we're working through that on our end, and the kids are working through the fact they're only children now, having to share and be siblings.
Who really want to be only children.
Who really wanted to be only children.
So you can imagine.
I think Lil Sean was happy with having a big brother, but I don't think Anthony was happy with having a little brother.
Anthony was not happy with
I don't think he liked that too much.
No, he didn't care for that too much. He did not care for that too much.
Yeah, so we had to navigate that, you know, and so I think a lot of people, the questions they may have when they bring a blended family together is, how did you do it? Well, the way we did it was, we made sure that they understood. Let me tell it to the camera. We made sure that they understood that we were one.
Yes.
And so there was no come and ask your mama, go ask your daddy.
Playing us against each other. Yeah, we took a stand on that. And you know, I can't say that we had. There were a lot of times where things like that would happen. But because they knew that we stood as one, then there weren't any games played really. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, this is really funny. I have to make Lil Sean laugh about this. One day, everything was about my daddy. I don't know how many times I heard him. My daddy said, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy. And it was just, I was like, whoa, like you were his everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until we got married and actually started living together that I realized, like, you were his everything. And it's rare. It was something different for me because I've always heard kids say my mama.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear him say my daddy, like everything, if he was trying to explain something, if he was just everyday stuff was about my daddy, you know. And that was really, really, that was a trip because I just never, that was my first time dealing with that and hearing it so much, you know, which was really, really cool when you think about it because everything is about mama usually, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. You did great for him to
Well, thank you.
be talking about my daddy every time.
Well, you know, being a single, I was a domiciliary parent,
Yeah.
and his mom lived in another city, and so I had him. You know, I had him at all times, and the cool piece was that I was back and forth between Lake Charles and Baton Rouge because I was living in Baton Rouge at the time, and so I had a family structure to help me. So that was really
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Because we'd go play music on the weekends and he'd be with cousins and, you know, and aunts and grandparents on the weekend. So he got a very good sense of what I feel is very important for kids to get. They need to get a sense of family and who family is early, and they need to get it often. Because I think I am who I am, and the confidence that I have in life is because I grew up in a big family. I think that's part of it. Because number one, in a big family, you know, you gotta represent. You gotta, you know, stand up for yourself. You gotta, you know, stand up so you can shine and whatnot. You know, and then in our family, you know, it's a lot of shining going
A
on.
lot of shining and a lot of confident people. They may not feel it on the inside, but boy, they shine. They definitely show it when they show up.
My grandparents were all about that. You know, that my grandparents had 14 children. So my dad and his sisters and brothers grew up, you know, in a house full at all times. And matter of fact, they grew up as parents even.
Right.
Because the oldest ended up being the second parents to the
Always,
youngest.
yeah.
You know?
Always.
So they had a huge but number one, man, it's like that name, that Hardware name. You got, you know, you can't go out there looking any old kind of way. You can't go represent. When you step
Can't
out,
be out there doing any and everything.
can't be doing any and everything because you're representing all of us. And so that was cool. So a lot probably didn't do a lot of things because
of the name.
that.
Yeah.
You know, well, when I got to be old enough, my daddy pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey," he said, "You start to smell yourself." He said, "So let me tell you right now, if you get into anything and you get put in jail, don't call home. Do not call home. You got yourself in it, you can get yourself out of it. And if you call home, you better hope I'm not home. Because if she answers and I'm home and I find out that it's you in jail, I'm going to hang it up." I say, ooh, that's pretty, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I always heard that in the back of my head.
You should have.
When folk was like, "Yeah, man, let's go." You see, man, the way my home life set up,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to go over there with y'all.
Have you met my daddy?
Yeah, y'all know my daddy. Yeah, man, your daddy. I said, exactly. So, nah, bro, I can't go.
Whether it was friends or family.
Friends or family. Yep, friends or family, man. So, you know, so that was good. You know, and we got to give those parents that we have to give those parents that we're not necessarily fond of. We've got to give them a break because they were doing what they knew how to do. Now, that's not giving them an excuse.
No.
But they were doing what they knew how to do. And what God showed me later on in life was that the problems that he and I had later on in life, well, that we always had when I was under his roof, it was a problem because it didn't make sense. He was just making these edicts and, you know, doing these things, and I'm having, you know, I'm like mad about it. And
No rhyme or reason.
You know, yeah, he making me do crazy stuff, and you know, but everything that he put me through has caused me to be who I am today. You know, because I'm a self-starter. I don't need nobody's approval. And if you don't answer me, I don't have a problem asking over and over and over. Because
Right.
I figured out by high school that I had to start asking for prom at the beginning of school year. Or after the first of the year, prom was in April, May, I need to start asking in January. And I knew I wasn't going to get an answer until somewhere close to prom. So I had to have everything set up so that when he said yes, I could just move. You know, and he caught me my junior year. He let me know the week of. And if it wouldn't be for my aunt Mildred, I don't think I would have made it because she made my prom jacket and bow tie.
Wow.
Yeah. She made it for me. Thank you, Aunt
awesome.
Mildred. Yeah. You know, because they knew him. They knew how he was.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, and they knew I was a good kid. So, so you know, that was the thing. But anyway, so I understood that we needed a strong family unit. And, you know, you come from a family that had both parents in the home. So
and it was my parents didn't play. And that's why, you know, 4 girls, man, we did not play. My daddy didn't play. My daddy was a silent person until he had to speak, you know. But mostly he would speak to my mom and my mom would relay the messages to us, you know. And then every once in a while, he, you know, when he spoke, we were like this.
That's how it is. Yeah. Daddy would leave.
He was mild mannered. He was, you know, pretty much chilled, and you know, we didn't play with him too much
until he wasn't.
Yeah, until he wasn't, and when he wasn't, and that kept us. All of that kept us straight.
Yeah. Well, girls have issues with their moms, not their dads.
Yeah, but we didn't.
When I say issues, y'all buck up to your mama, you don't buck up to your daddy. Your mom gets smart with your mama, not your daddy.
Yeah. Right.
You know, guys get smart with their daddies, not their mom.
Right.
And the ones who get smart with their mamas, I don't find that the daddy has been in the home. I don't find. I haven't heard of.
Yeah.
It's always been, you know, you living with your mama and you get smart with your mama, and you say some crazy shit to your mama, and next thing you know, your daddy knocking at the door, talking about, say, bruh.
I talked to your mama.
Yeah, your mama said
your mama called me.
Mama said your mouth getting smart. You know, now we got to handle that.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So there's that. But the number one thing though, in my opinion, is to convey to the children that you are one. Anytime Anthony will come and be like, "Hey man, I want to do so-and-so," you talk to your mom about that? No, I haven't talked to him. Okay, cool. Then I can make the call.
Right.
But if he's already talked to you about it, I mean, what she said. Well, she said so. Now, if I think he needs to do it,
right,
then I said, well, let me talk to her. Let me see.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I come to you and talk to you. But if you know, if I pretty much know that he probably shouldn't be doing it, and you already said no, then I'm like, hey man, that's what she said. Hey.
And you know, and there, I mean, I must admit that there were times that, for some reason, I didn't feel good about it. But knowing that you were in the home, that you were here, you know, he go and talk to you, and you'd come back and talk to me. And there were times that, you know, you changed my mind on things.
Yeah,
you know,
your first answer was no.
My first answer was always
with
no.
everybody.
Yeah, with everybody. It you know,
no.
I was consistent.
You were very consistent.
You know, so he had you to go to, you know. But if it was something that we felt that he really shouldn't be involved in, and we talked about it, then, you know, the answer was no, just don't feel good about it. You know, it's not anything you should be doing. You know, with Lil Sean, he still, you know, he was so used to coming to you with things. He always went to you. Now, you and I would talk about it, or you'd say, you know, I need to talk to Vanessa about it, which later I became my me. That's That's funny.
Tell that story.
Yeah, when we first got married, Lil Sean would call me Miss Vanessa. And he called me that for, oh my God, I think from the time we got married until we moved here, maybe 2005 or 6, maybe a year or two.
So 5 years.
So one day I was just thinking, because he was, you know, he would call me Miss Vanessa, and I was like, you know what, man, you know,
You told me that.
No, I told you. But I had been thinking about it. I told Sean, I was like, you know, Miss Vanessa is fine. I said, but I feel like, you know, since we were married now, we've been married for you know, several years, or a few years at least, we need to figure out what he's going to call me, because Miss Vanessa is no longer.
It's not doing it for you.
It's not doing it for me. It's not, really not appropriate, because now I am, you know, I am
in the mothering capacity.
I mean, you know, that's what I'm doing. I'm mothering him. So long story short, Sean talked to him about it, and I think one day I was able to talk to him about it right here in the kitchen. And I just told him, I said, whatever name, we come as, you can call me, you can call, I don't want to take your mother's place. You don't have to call me mama. You don't have to call me, ma. You don't have to, we just figure out something, And then I guess he thought about it. And then
talked about it.
Yeah, y'all talked about it.
He said, "What I want?" I said, "Well, I gave him some options."
Yeah, you gave me some options.
And he picked one.
And then he picked one, and I've been mommy ever since. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
And for me, it's like you got this hardcore jail officer, who comes home one day and says, "You know what? I don't like the fact that he called me Miss Vanessa."
Yeah, 5 years in.
Yeah, that it just seems like it should be something else. I said, "What you want to call it?" "I don't know. Whatever he comfortable calling me, but I don't want to be Miss Vanessa no more. It needs to be a pet name. It needs to be not a pet name. Like a term of endearment. To adequately represent our new relationship.
Right.
And I thought that was real sweet. I said, look at her getting the soft side. Look at her getting the soft side.
Well, but I was doing everything a mother would do.
Yeah.
So I've kind of felt like, I'm not Miss Vanessa anymore.
Yeah.
But it was sweet though. The first time he said he took me out, he took me fast. The first time he came in, I think I was in the kitchen or something, and he came in. He said, "Mommy, let me ask you." And I was trying not to react, like be cool, chill, And I was like, okay, what is it or whatever, and so it was that. It was mommy and till now.
That's what it's been. That's what it's gonna be.
It's been. Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome, And then like for like Anthony, and again, y'all need to understand something. We didn't agree about everything.
We did not.
We did not. There were things that I wanted to do with Anthony that she didn't want me to do, and there are things that that she might have thought I was a little hard on little Sean with, and I was like, no, stay out of man business.
And that was hard though. That was hard for me because I had that role for so long.
You did.
And that was hard for me. And then, we have two boys, and so there was some things that I just had to defer. I had to just not be involved in.
Because in this day and age, people are saying that that it doesn't have to, and you don't have to. And it's like, well, no, you don't have to, but everything, but if you're not a man raising a man child, then everything that you're doing is from what you think, not from what you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only pushback that I would give.
Right.
Because and maybe this will be controversial and whatnot or whatever, but I think that because we've had so many boys been raised by their mothers and their aunts and their grandparents, we have a lot of very emotional men who react to things in the way a traditional woman would react, but they react to that with a whole bunch of man energy. And that becomes dangerous. Yeah. That becomes, really, really tense because when you got this big old 6'4" boy, reacting because he didn't get what he wanted or because his feelings hurt. And the only way he knows how to lash out is to holler. Because, y'all women do a lot of hollering. Yeah. I agree. Even the enlightened ones do a lot of hollering. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in rooms with a whole bunch of enlightened, and they do a lot of hollering when they get upset. They hollering. Yeah, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, you're right. Wow. And so it was just about
because with men, when we start hollering, we're not that far from violence. So we don't holler as quickly.
No,
because we understand that hollering has consequences. Women don't generally have consequences for hollering.
Right. Yeah.
For the most part.
You're right.
Unless you holler to another woman.
Right.
In which case, then that's going to be what that is.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
But I mean, and again, y'all can comment and disagree with us in the comments if you want. But I mean, my almost 55 years of living and her living and working in an environment. In an all male environment.
I saw it all. I saw it every day.
When people are hollering, what's next?
Fight.
When men are hollering, fight ain't far.
Yeah, fight is not far. If you don't stop it, if you don't shut that down, a fight will ensue.
Yeah,
It's
man.
just, so
And and that's a thing that having a man, a solid man around will help to negate.
Help, yeah.
Because I didn't holler like talking about it. I didn't holler until it was time to set the atmosphere straight.
Right.
Because again,
and shut some foolishness down.
right, because like we told you in the beginning, we don't tell you how to live, how to be, whatever. We just tell you what worked
That is
for us.
that is not what we're here for.
And the way we live through a Christ-centered life, the male in the family has a certain frequency that he deals with. When a man speaks in an atmosphere, the atmosphere has to change. That's why a lot of situations they want to, they don't want to let men be in these because it will change. And in an atmosphere where the house is in chaos, if a man goes, "Hey,"
Man,
everything has a pause. Just like in the wild, when the male gorilla, when the male dog, when the male lion, when the male tiger, whenever they go, "Rah,"
yeah,
everything goes, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
In their spirit, they heard that and they shine an eye. But if we're a balanced man, we understand how to use that frequency.
Right.
But if we don't have that, if we didn't learn that from watching that happen play out in real life, then we've seen hollering be something else.
Right.
And so then now we become a man and we're in a situation out in the world and we start hollering and we elevate. And when that happens, it takes on a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. So anyway, we kind of got a little off subject, but that it was on subject because I was able to model that for Anthony.
Right.
I didn't do too much hollering. Even if he was getting excited, it took me a minute before I started hollering. I'm like, nah, we're not going.
And I've seen times where when Lil Sean, when
same thing
when you got enough, and I was like, it had nothing to do with me, but I was shaking.
Now this is from somebody who remember we talked about the compensation behavior. She was raising a man child, so she had to really put them,
right.
Put them bees on them. You know what I'm saying? Trying, hey, look, you gonna respect me.
Raise my voice, or had to do it in a way that would make him guys, and then when I in my profession make guys.
Yeah.
It's like shut it down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you go from, me to you. I know that somewhere there was comfort in the way that you approached things. I know that there was comfort for him somewhere.
Oh yeah, because he didn't worry about getting knocked out of the head.
or really getting something taken away.
Get something.
Or because there just came a time where as a single mother raising a man child, there just comes a time where you've done enough discussing, and I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything. Just be quiet. Say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So when you've been pushed past that, then things happen, whether it's punishment, whether it's whatever.
Take the
to
game
shut
away,
that down.
Tell you what, you ain't going nowhere. Stay in your room.
To shut that down because I've seen it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like with Lil Sean, the main incident she's talking about is like Lil Sean was I was in this kitchen, this very kitchen, and I was cleaning. I think I might have been peeling potatoes or something. I was making a sandwich.
Right.
I was making a sandwich. And he coming and he all excited. I said, Sean, no. He kept going. I said, I need you need to chill out. And he came. And so then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I quickly reached out, grabbed his shirt, pulled it, and laid one right in the middle of his chest. And I did that all at the same time while raising my voice and telling him to, I didn't say shut up. I said, hey, you gonna bring your voice down and something like that.
Yeah.
And then, and then he's sitting there trying to breathe, right? And choking his eyes all big. And then I go back to making my sandwich.
Yep, sure did. I was like, whoa.
And I
he didn't miss a beat.
And then look,
he went back to
and then Vanessa was talking
sandwich.
And she was talking and then when I did it, and then we have like a high
booming
ceilings.
house, yeah.
So it
Booming.
echoed. And so I look up at her and she like, I don't want no trouble.
No,
I say,
no
girl, stop it. that ain't even nowhere close to what you be doing. She's like,
But I'm a woman. It's different when it's a man.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a woman. I mean, you know, what people are hearing is a little chihuahua. That's what they're hearing.
You're a little bit bigger than chihuahua. You're a little bit more dangerous than chihuahua.
A chihuahua or a
you like
German
a
Shepherd or something like the little
pit
pit bull. But that
it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, that was a whole different sound right there.
And it shut it down.
It shut it down, shut everybody down, and I wasn't even a part of it.
That part. That's a part.
Yeah.
But basically, y'all, what we really want to convey is the fact that you have to have a unified front, and it's best if you have, if you. These days it's so complicated
to
these
set
days. Yeah,
to set boundaries, because I find this even when you're not a blended family,
you got to set boundaries.
Those kids will play parents against each
Absolutely.
other if you allow it.
If you allow,
you know what I'm saying?
So.
You know,
got nothing to do with, that has nothing to do with being a blended parent.
No. I'm just saying
playing parents against each other has nothing.
On a good day,
yeah,
at a 2-parent home,
yeah, but
you know what I'm saying.
But when it's blended, it seems to be a little easier to pit against each other,
right,
because you had a life together before that other person,
right,
and so there's that whole.
It brings it brings on different challenges, and like Sean said earlier, is that we had to find our way. You have to find your way.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not only, you've just gotten married, and then you bring 2 kids, your families are now blended, and now you're trying to navigate.
You're trying to make 4 one.
Yes, you're trying to make 4.
It was 2 to come one, but now we're trying to make 4
one.
That's something
else. And then the way he and I grew up, we're older children, so we have our own things, and then you have the 2 who are a decade apart, who were only children,
mm-hmm.
and basically still wanted to be only children.
Yep.
So we had to find our way through all of that. You know, we really did. It was It was a slow process.
Hey, and they still talk to both of us.
Right. Yeah. It was a slow process.
They still talk to both of us.
But
so, hey.
it's been once we started to navigate that thing and find out what worked for us, things started to get easier.
Yeah. And it, like we said earlier, it wasn't perfect.
No, it was not perfect. A lot of stuff we wanted to do. And if I could go back today, if I could go back, I would do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
You're
a different person now, though.
Yeah, I'm a different person. So I would have loved to be the person I am today then.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to get you there.
No.
You weren't trying to hear that.
Yeah, I had too much stuff going on.
You weren't trying to hear that.
But
look, y'all, I was like, hey, we need to have a talk. She said, what? I say, listen, I can't keep being the woman in this relationship. She said, what you mean? I said, you're the one that's always hollering.
Yeah.
I need you to be softer. And, I need you to be quieter in your approach with them, because if both of us are coming at them all hard, then they don't have any rest.
You were right.
They don't have any rest. They don't have any way to get the balance. They're just getting beat over the head with all the time. I said, and I have stuff that I need to do as a man, but I can't do it because you've already half-assed done it as a woman, and now I got to go fix what you did, but I got to fix it softly.
Yes.
And this doesn't need to be fixed softly, but you've already done the half-hard thing.
Yes.
Pause. You've already done you've already done the half-hard thing, and now I got to go and figure out how to work around that.
Yep.
I was like, you got to let me do.
I complicated things a lot as far as you were concerned. But that's who I was then.
Yeah, it is.
and it worked. Times it worked, times it didn't.
No,
No,
it always worked.
Yeah.
Because we gonna make it work.
Oh yeah.
So that wasn't the thing, but it's like,
But
like you're saying,
Yeah.
we both could have done a lot to be better, and communicate better, and better and plan better.
right.
But we were in the middle of it.
We were in the middle, man.
so
When
all we
you're
can
in the
tell you is-
middle, when you are in the middle of it, it's tough.
when you're in the middle of it, you got to do the best you can. But
Right.
that's why we're doing this podcast, and that's why we did this one today. If y'all have any questions or things that y'all want us to expand on, put that in the comments because we do read those, and we'll check and see, and we could do something on that topic that you
Yes.
want as far as the blended families are concerned. But we feel like it was a success because the boys still talk to us. The men, well, they're gonna be boys for us. They're boys.
Yeah,
the
still
boys
boys.
still talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I thought about?
What?
How no matter how old we get, me and you gonna always call each other boy and girl. Girl, you better stop. You be like, boy, you tripping.
Yeah,
Boy, you
because
nasty.
we see-
And stop calling me nasty.
But
You
we
heard me.
see each
Stop
other.
Stop calling me nasty.
We see each other as boy and girl. I mean, we just do.
I mean, I ain't tripping.
I'm sure people who are,
I wonder if we're gonna be
Yeah.
in our 70s going,
Said, boy,
girl, you better
please.
come over here.
boy, please.
See, boy, you nasty. You nasty,
No,
yeah, boy. Boy, you know you
no.
nasty. Yeah. You still nasty, boy. You still nasty. Yep, gonna be nasty till I check out. But I don't see it as nasty, but if that's what you're gonna call it, I know what you're talking about, so I'm gonna say yep till I check out.
You silly.
Yep. So anyway, we hope we've helped y'all. This has been Better Marriage Daily. We talked about blended families and how to, just giving you a few tips on how to succeed. First of all, show a unified front.
Right.
Try to identify the needs of the kids, and whichever parent can address those needs the best. Talk about it beforehand about which parent's going to address those issues,
Right.
and address them, and just be teamwork, be unified. Don't let them split you up. I know you and your child had 10, 15 years alone together, but when you bring that together, if you trust and love that other partner, that you got, then when you get married, again, I got to keep
Speaking
prefacing
to-
this because we live a Christ-centered life. So once you get married, the way it works, biblically is God, family, then kids. God, family, God, husband and wife, kids, job, everything else.
Yep.
Now, and then if you put job and extended family in there, it depends on like if it's your mom and your dad or your brother, or your sister, and something goes on, then that time may take precedence.
Right.
You may regret that later on.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's God first, then spouse, then children. Everything after that is negotiable. But you can't put the children before your spouse.
No.
There was a question on Facebook. Somebody asked about that.
Yeah.
No,
you can't do that.
You can't put the children before the marriage, before the spouse, because when you do that, you allow them to separate you, and a separated, it's not a marriage.
It's not.
If you separated, you're not one.
Yeah.
You're two.
May stay
Could
single.
have just stayed roommates.
Yeah.
or not.
Or not.
Or just stay boyfriend and girlfriend. Or just stay kicking it. Whatever you want to do. But once you become one in everything.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'm Sean.
And I'm V.
And this has been Better Marriage Daily. We'll see y'all next time. Holla.